First of all, Jane, I have got to commend you on your performance in this movie. It is such an intense and multi-layered performance. It was really, really impressive. Why do you think it is that so many actors look down their noses doing horror films? Because they are, I mean, there's so much to work with, especially in this movie.
I didn't know that people did that. Shame on those people. Yeah, I think it's a super rich medium, and there's something that feels very classic to me. I don't even know if this is a true fact, but it feels to me like the oldest stories are scary stories, and like being scared is a huge part of storytelling.
Well, Fede, what I really enjoyed about your vision for this is that you bring your very much your own sensibility to it, but you do keep that over-the-top black comedy sort of tone to it that kind of makes it okay to laugh with the movie. Yeah. Was that something that you had always envisioned this movie being? I mean, and what was Sam's reaction to, you know, viewing the movie for the first time?
Sam loved it. He was the first one when even I was doubting my first cut and was like, oh, this is the first cut or not. And I showed it to him. He loved it, and he was really, he was pushing us to I mean, he really believed in the movie all the time, and really believed in that cut. Something that you don't have to do with a movie is trying to make it exactly what you want. If you're trying to control a movie to that extent that you want to control every bit of it, it's just going to end up being something you don't want. It's just like if you have a kid, you want him to be a doctor, he's going to be a freaking hippie, right? So you cannot try to force anything to be something that just by forcing it. So all you can do is have a clear vision of where you want to take it, and just, and that's what we did with this movie. We knew that we had to be faithful to the spirit of the original film. And that's Sam Raimi going to the woods, trying to make the scariest film he could, and having no rules whatsoever, like being as outrageous as he could. And that's exactly, I think, what we did. So then, of course, those things end up being, because of being outrageous over the top and can be funny sometimes, right? Yeah. But then you move from those points to something very scary suddenly. So all that laugh just diminishes and go to a very dark place, and then the laugh is back. So end up being a great roller coaster for the audience, because I think we were faithful to the spirit of the original film, right? So that's all you can do. You can have a right set of mind and go and do it, but not really trying to control exactly what's going to happen in the theater later.
Well, and I love the addiction element too, which it just feels as so rich, to kind of start from that place. Was that always the conceit from the very beginning when you were envisioning this remake? Was that always the way you were going to go?
I think when we started thinking about the story, just naturally we knew that there's no point in remaking something just for the sake of it and putting it back out there 30 years later. It's never going to work, right? You have to really think about if the story is still relevant for a new audience. And we knew that we have to come up with a new idea why 5 people will go to a cabin in the woods. That is a creepy place, isolated from everything. If you tell a story of people going there just to have drinks and have fun, have sex, like the audience saw that movie so many times. So you have to give them something new and something relevant. So that's why we came up with another plot in a way, and a new reason why they're going to go there. And I think it really works because people engage with the characters. They have some time to get to know them and know what they're going through. And then when the horror kicks in, it's way more realistic too, right?
Yeah, and from the beginning with Mia, it's all about survival.
Yeah.
Even when she's trying to, recover from this horrible addiction, she's trying to live and do better. And then it gets a little bit more complicated, but throughout the whole movie, she's...
The themes are always the same, right? Like, at the beginning, all the friends are doing something horrible for her, but for her own sake. They decide, let's keep her here by force, because at the end of the day, that's the best thing for her. And then David, her brother, he's confronted with the same idea at the end, where he has to kill her to kind of save her soul, right? That's what he has to put her out of her misery in a way, just to give her peace. So again, the guy is confronted with the same thing of the beginning, where he has to do something very tough just in order to save her, right?
We've heard a lot about you guys starting to write a sequel, and is that something that you're envisioning that you would direct, or?
Right now, I'm just attached as a writer. I think it's going to depend on where the story goes. If we agree on a movie that is exactly what I want to do, that hopefully it will, that I may end up directing. Yeah, that remains to be seen. Yeah.
For breaking entertainment news and more, follow @HitFix on Twitter or visit hitfix.com.